Hello everyone, myself Madhuri Kuthade, student of Elite Institute of Pharma Skills, Pune. I am going to present a topic pharmacovigilance under the guidance of Mrs. Archana Gavde. So let's begin with the pharmacovigilance. So it's a science which deals with it is a science which deals with monitoring of the drugs. So where the pharmacovigilance, this term has been developed from the two words as pharmacon, that is drug, and vigilate as to keep watch. So it is a kind of a post-marketing surveillance where the drug is marketed into the society or into the country, and then it has been monitored for its adverse side effects. So introduction. So pharmacovigilance has been defined by WHO, that is World Health Organization, as science and the activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects or any other medicine-related problem. So thus the aim of pharmacovigilance is to protect public health by identifying, evaluating, minimizing safety issues to ensure that the overall benefits of medicines outweigh the risk. So let's talk about history, how exactly this pharmacovigilance came into the picture. So it starts with the 1981, where the German toxicologist Louis Levin has published one book regarding to the adverse drug effect. Then later on in USA, scientist Adams in his article as the Great American Fraud, he introduced the 11 articles which stated about the adulterated and misbranded foods and drugs in the USA. And later on, the further development occurs in the pharmacovigilance as this leads to directly the formation of Food and Drugs Act, which was further established by the Food and Drug Administration in 1906. Then in 1951, another book was published by the Dutch scientist Leopold, and who has also stated about the adulteration of the food and the drugs. And then in 1961 there is a big disaster occurred, and that is thalidomide disaster. And from that the WHO decided to monitor the drug effect in the society, and thus the international drug monitoring system has been developed in effect from 1968 with the consultation meeting in 1971. And later on, further, the International Drug Monitoring System has been cooperated by Uppsala Monitoring Center, that is UMC in Sweden. So most of the countries have joined this. So our India joined it in 1998. So let's talk about the some more details about the pharmacovigilance. So this pharmacovigilance is a branch of pharmacoepidemiology, but is restricted to the study on an epidemiological scale. So it is dependent on the epidemiological scale majorly in the society, in a particular group of individuals or the patients who are taking that new drug. It is a process of monitoring, evaluating, improving the safety of the medicines in the use. So this pharmacovigilance is mainly focused toward the efficacy, definitely with respect to with that it is also focusing on majorly safety of the patient. And thus it is pharmacovigilance, it is nothing but it's equal to the drug monitoring. So how the drug is performing its function in the entire population, that is going to be monitored. So the PVRS pharmacovigilance has been also defined by many scientists and researchers. So one of the definition as the science of collecting, monitoring, researching, assessing, and evaluating the information from the healthcare providers and the patients on the adverse effects of medications, biological products, blood products, herbals, vaccines, medical device, traditional and complementary medicines. So it is not only related to the medications, it is also related to the biological products, the blood products, herbal products, medical device also, then vaccines and the traditional medicines. So it is not only just the monitoring process, it is also collecting the data for the adverse drug reaction, researching on that, assessing what exactly the problem is, how, and evaluating the information, and this information is provided by the healthcare providers or the patients, and this with the view to identifying the new information about hazards associated with the products and preventing harm to the patients. So more of the information is acquired by the industry or acquired by the particular pharma company, then they are focusing on more and more safety toward the patient, and thus it prevent the harm to the patient. So the major challenge over here in the pharma industry for the pharma industry is maximizing the drug safety and maintaining the public confidence. It's becoming a very important challenge over there in the pharma industries, because in case of the phase 1, 2, 3 trial, the number of subjects or number of volunteers which are exposed over there, those are quite minimum, or we can say it can be a limited one. But in case of when the drug has got the approval and it enters into the market, at that time, the at the when it enters into the market, then it is going to be a big challenge for the industry, that how the drug will show the safety with respect to the diverse public, with respect to the diverse population or the patients in the area. So the pharmaceutical companies, they not only just monitor but also proactively estimate, manage and drug risk throughout the product's life cycle. So it starts from the development to the post market. So basically product's life cycle, it starts with the development, that is initially it is the IND, that is investigational new drug. For that the particular trials have been done with the animals, and then after that it enters into the clinical phase, that is the clinical trials will be done for the particular drug, that is phase 1 trial, phase 2, phase 3 trial, and once it pass through all the trials, then it will go for the approval, and after the approval it enters into the market. So this entire life cycle, product's life cycle is there, and that entire life cycle is monitored, as well as the estimated and the managed the drug risk by the pharmaceutical industries. So therefore pharmacovigilance programs need a strong link with the regulators to ensure that the authorities are well briefed on the safety issues. At the same time, regulators also should understand that the pharmacovigilance plays a specialized and pivotal role in ensuring ongoing safety of the medicinal products. Pharmacovigilance programs need to be adequately supported to achieve their objective. So this PV program, it is of two types, that is the passive surveillance and the active surveillance. Passive means what, it's the no active measures are taken to look for adverse events or adverse effects, where the reporting is entirely dependent on initiative and the motivation of the potential reporters. So, for example, suppose any individual has taken up any drug, and he or she suffer from a particular effect over on the body, like a strong headache or the vomiting and etc. Then in that case, the patient just neglects that all the effect or all the event which are occurring in his body, and it may be misconceptual taken that it is because of the food and drug interaction, or kind of a food interaction, etc. So there should be a requirement of a potential reporter, or there should be a requirement of the motivation. So if the motivation is given to that particular patient, then it will take the initiative and report the adverse effect. So this particular process is referred as a spontaneous or voluntary reporting, where the person is taking the initiative, and before taking the initiative it has to be get motivated, and this motivation is provided by the reporters over here. Then next is active surveillance. So what is active or safety surveillance? It is the measure taken to detect the adverse events, where it is managed by the active follow-up after the treatment. So for example, any new drug is given to the patient, then doctor will continuously ask him or her about what kind of effect is there, as well as it continuously take up the doctor and the clinician continuously takes up the follow up for that particular patient with the new drug, and that is going to be a active surveillance. Okay, and that is taken up with by the pharmacists, by the clinicians, etc. So why the pharmacovigilance is important? It is important for monitoring and surveillance of the drug, elevating the human sufferings to reduce the disease related economical loss, identifying a new information about the hazards associated with the medicines, proactive monitoring and reporting on the quality, safety, and efficacy of the drugs. It is also responsible for early detection of the safety problems and increases in frequency of adverse drug reactions. So accordingly, what kind of adverse drug reactions are there in the society or in the public accordingly, whether the drug will survive into the market or not, that is being decided. So that's why the early detection is important, and that is done in the PV, that is pharmacovigilance. So now, this adverse events which are occurring to the patient, who can report this? So it can be reported by the physician, hospitals, pharmaceutical manufacturers through the medical representative, then pharmacist, nurse, patient, and the patient's relatives. So for all the new drugs, all suspected reactions, including minor or the mild in severity adverse events, should be reported. And in case of the well-known drugs, only serious, unexpected, unusual ADRs should be reported. So any type of a reporting that is regarding to the ADR, adverse drug reaction, in that case, the ADR can be reported in two ways, that is the solicited sources and the unsolicited sources. So solicited sources include, that is the reports from clinical trials, pre-marketing survey, pre-marketing process where it involves phase 1, 2 and 3. So whatever the adverse events are occurring in clinical trials, it has to be conveyed to the regulatory authorities, it has to be conveyed to the IRB, and that process is referred as solicited sources. Unsolicited sources are what, where the other sources are responsible for reporting the ADR, like literature, spontaneous report, internet, social media, etc. So this PV process, it starts with the case processing. So suppose any case is entered as an adverse drug reaction regarding to any particular drug, then its case will be processed first about what kind of information has been acquired through that particular case, and then whatever the gaps in between the information, in between the process, it is going to be filled up, it is going to be it is going to be filled up with the continuous follow-up, and later on assessment and aggregate reporting is done, and then signal identification is done, and lastly the risk management is done in the PV process. So whenever such areas have been acquired by the any individual at that time, it has to be reported to the associations, or it has to be reported to the authorities. That is submission timelines. So the submission timelines may vary from organization to the organization. Like in case of EMA, that is European Medicines Agency, the spontaneous ICRs and clinical ICSRs, that is the individual case safety reports, are 15 days and within the 15 days. And in case of USFDA, the spontaneous ICSRs are submitted as soon as possible but no later than 15 calendar days. And in case of clinical, it should be as soon as possible but no case later than 7 calendar days. Similarly, same kind of a drug safety things, that is PVPI, is existing in our India, and it has the different criteria of the submission rules, that all the serious unexpected adverse reactions should be reported to the licensing authority within the 15 days, and clinical ICSR should be reported to the DCGI within 14 calendar days. So the submission of the ICSRs finally is done to the UMC, that is the Upasala Monitoring Center in Sweden, and it has to be done in the E2P format analysis. This is all the information gathered regarding to the pharmacovigilance. So the references for the above topic, and these are my references. And I am very much thankful to Mrs. Archana Gandhi, Director, Elite Institute of Pharma Skills, Pune, and all the teaching staff for guiding me in this field. As this field is entirely new for me, so the interest development in this field and the career development in this field, for that I am very much thankful to Archana Gandhi ma'am to guide me in this field. Thank you.